Since the last countdown list I made was about my favorite Gundams, I figured I may as well make a list of my favorite Grunt mobile suits next. The ones that often serve as cannon fodder for Gundams to blast through with ease. The mass production versions that a Gundam may have been the prototype for. The normal level mobile suits that actually sometimes complement the skills of the pilot when they're still able to give a superior machine a run for their money. Like the last list, my criteria is mostly about how much I like the design of the mobile suit, but since this is a grunt list, I'll also try to take into account how threatening the machine was in large numbers and or how cool it was on occasions when it might have gotten the chance to shine. So here are my top 20 favorite grunt mobile suits. Number 20. Rick Diaz from Zeta Gundam. It actually didn't dawn on me until I already started writing this, but I think this is the only mobile suit that both Char and Amuro have piloted. I guess that makes it a little extra special. But with or without a legendary new type in the cockpit, the Rick Diaz is pretty memorable. It has an interesting look with those binders and pistols sticking up on its back, some bulky parts all over like the bell-bottom leg armor, and that standard armament you just can't go wrong with. A nice suit with plenty of identity to set the AUG's forces apart from the usual Federation and Zeon designs right away. Number 19. Ba Wu from Gundam Double Zeta. Or is it Bao O? Or just Bao? I don't know. All I know is it's a cool mobile suit. A mass-produced Neo-Zeon copy of the Zeta Gundam, how could that not be cool? Especially with sharper, meaner-looking armor, a shield with built-in mega particle cannons, and the ability to split into two segments when it transforms. Just a really fancy-looking, badass grunt unit from the golden age of transforming mobile suits. Number 18. Marasai from Zeta Gundam. A mobile suit with a very cool Zeon-esque look, which is ironic since it's from the Titans, a force whose original mission was to mop up the remnants of Zeon. I like the salmon color it has, the asymmetrical shoulders with the spikes on one and the shield pylon things on the other, and of course a lot of the same details I like about Zaku's, like hefty looking armor, hoses, spikes, mono-eye, etc. And performance-wise it could even go toe-to-toe with the Gundam Mark II. A nice, simple MS I've always dug. Number 17. Valiant from Gundam X. A lot like the Ares from Gundam Wing, but smoother, sleeker, and just all around nicer looking in my opinion. It can fight well in the air, on land, or in space. It's got a good design, some kind of aquamarine or turquoise main color that I really like, and a balanced armament that gets the job done. As the first brand new mass production MS introduced by the new United Nations of Earth, the Valiants herald the rise of a renewed world government here to bring order back to the lawless Earth. And the Valiant forces demonstrate that they have the drive and the muscle to force the world's cooperation. Number 16. Zoloat from Victory Gundam. A refreshingly unique design with some cool gimmicks, like the beam strings that shoot from one shoulder while a beam shield can emit from the other. While it is a grunt mobile suit, it does still have a sense of power when it needs to, able to outclass Federation grunts and even give Gundams enough of a challenge to keep the fights interesting, something I really enjoyed about Victory Gundam overall. Late Universal Century mobile suits don't seem quite as popular as others, unfortunately, but the Zoloat and much of its Zanskar Empire brethren definitely deserve some affection. Number 15. Murasame from Gundam Seed Destiny. Basically what happens when the M1 Astray makes whoopee with the Zeta Gundam. In fact, I'm pretty sure the basic mechanics of the transformation are almost identical to the Zetas. And since I really like both the Astrays and Zeta, a mix of the two, and a mass-produced one at that, is naturally appealing to me. On its own, though, it's also a cool, smooth design with a nice color scheme. And hell, a team of these actually took down a state-of-the-art Gundam. Not too shabby. Number 14. Zaku 2 from the original Mobile Suit Gundam, and several other UC shows with slight alterations. This is pretty much the grunt mobile suit. It's a classic, and I could say putting it on the list was an obligation, but truthfully I do genuinely like this design, obligation or no. It's also the signature Xeon mobile suit, with the kind of weapons and gimmicks that Xeon suits from well over a decade later still have. Mono eye, shoulder spikes, rectangular shield, tomahawk, bulky armor, the hose pipe thingies, the color green. All those Xeon MS trademarks that persist in designs to this day, even outside the Universal Century. Smaller scale side stories like War in the Pocket and 8th MS Team also help to show this familiar cannon fodder mech as still pretty threatening and formidable when it needs to be. What else can one say except it's the friggin' Zaku 2? Number 13. Gira Doga from Char's Counterattack. It's an evolution of the Zaku with pretty much all the Xeon-y features we know and love, but cooler looking and more advanced than the Zaku. I like the shades of green on this thing, the weapons, and how its overall look is a bit more beastly and imposing due to some extra bulk, but in the right places and not too much. A very nice look for a very nice MS that I think does the Zaku proud. Number 12. Re-Zell from Gundam Unicorn. Another Zeta-inspired Transformer, though unlike the Murasame, this one is actually related to the Zeta in-universe. It's also partly based on the Methis, which is how it got that signature cone on its back, and the thing on its crotch that people love to make fun of or complain about. Armored hard-ons notwithstanding, I think a lot of people still agree it's a good-looking design. And while you know they won't prevail, they are pretty cool when putting up the best fight they can against juggernauts like the Sinanju or Banshee. Number 11. Pez Batara from Crossbone Gundam. I've never seen another MS quite like this one. Maybe it looks cartoony to some people, with the smaller, skinnier limbs contrasting with a big, unusually shaped torso with eyes built in there instead of having a head, and long thrusters sticking out from its back. But I really like the less conventional design and purpose of this thing. It's an anti-ship mobile suit that emits a huge beam axe straight down its front with which it can slice along the hull of an enemy ship. Or if the Pez Batara itself is immobilized, an ally MS can pick it up and use its body as a jumbo melee weapon. Yes, that really happened once. Another MS on this list that's unusual, but all the more endearing to me because of that.